Hi everyone, and welcome back to Stitches with Charlie Feathers. I've been gone for about 3 months, and thank you to those of you that have sent me messages asking if I'm coming back. It was my plan to, but as I said in the last Flosstube, I took a new part-time job with lovely Sally from Flossie Sews and Grows, working with her and the team that she works for, which has been really lovely. And I've been working there 3 months now. And then I've also been settling my youngest daughter into her new kindergarten setting and working her hours up really slowly. So, yeah, it looks that she's now going 15 hours a week, which is great because it gives me time to work and to work on my coffee shop, Charly Feathers, for my jelly printed floss drops. And I get to do my recording. So that's great. And I was reviewing my last video recently and I was a bit disappointed with the lighting, but also how far away I was sat from the camera. I didn't really feel that you could see a lot of the stitches very well. So we're going to try something different today because I've got an overhead tripod as well. And I've been really inspired by Laura from I Stitch Birds. Hi Laura. And also by Magnolia Nest Designs, who's got a lovely Flosstube, if you don't watch that one already. And they both record from overhead and I really love their Flosstube. So I thought I'm just going to give it a go. My needle has been on absolute fire since I last saw you. I think since I last recorded, which I think was at the beginning of December, I was on a real mission to get my WIPs down as much as possible, and I was also working on the latest model that I did for model stitching that I did for Yasmin Made with Love, which I finished just before Christmas Day. And I sent off to her, so hopefully it won't be too long before I can share the photos of that one. But since that time, since I finished up model stitching, I've just been cracking on with my WIPs, and I think I've only had 3 new starts since the new year. I've just been really trying to clear the deck, so as a result I've got a big pile of FFO. I've got 2 FFOs, and then I've got a big pile of finished objects to show you. And then at the moment I've got 21 WIPs. I whittled them down. I was nearly at 30 when I last recorded, and I've whittled them down to 21. And that's with a couple of new starts. I think I've had 2 or 3 new starts since the new year. But I've got quite a few large projects in my WIP basket that have been going on for the last few years. So I've just been really trying to concentrate on getting stitches into them. So hopefully you'll see some good progress on a lot of those. Yeah, I've got the wall down here next to me. I'm recording in my daughter's bedroom today because the light in here is really, really good. This is where I take a lot of my Instagram photos, because in front of this big window here you can see the sea, but also it's just the best light in the house. So I thought we'll film here and hopefully you can see things really, really well. But yeah, out of 21 WIPs, I think there's only 4 that I haven't touched since I last saw you. So I've got a lot to show you. So let's just crack on. I'm going to flip onto the overhead camera and get showing you everything. Hi there, so we're back. So I'm using this really lovely English paper piecing quilt that is a current work in progress and has been since the first lockdown here in the UK, which would have been February 2020. So it's 4 years old, this WIP. It's my first English paper piecing project, and I'm hoping to make it large enough that it fits my king size bed. So I thought this would just make a really nice backdrop instead of a wooden table. This one's a pre-loved table, so it's got a few scratches. So yeah, this is my first FFO to show you. I finished this not the Christmas just gone, but the Christmas before, and this is one of Yasmin's Made with Love first pattern releases. Actually, this is one of her freebies. It's called Santa's Clumsy Helper, and I adored stitching this and supporting Yas. I changed some of the colours. I put Krynig in these areas. I think I changed some of the greens because I didn't have the called for, and I used a fancy floss gold. I can't remember what this one's called. If you really want to know, then message me. But I just wanted that bit of variegation on the star there. So yeah, this is such a pretty little project, and trying to think where I got these pins from. I don't think I bought these. Where did they come from? I honestly don't know. They may have been a gift from someone, or I got them in an advent calendar. I think they may have been a gift. Sorry to whoever sent those to me. Bit forgetful at the moment. And on the back, I've got this really nice sort of batiky fabric that I got in the fabric scrap bin at my local fabric shop. And yeah, I put a little bit of felt over there and some of these charms that I got given in my goodie bag from Stitch in London. And I stuffed this with all my orts from my ort jar. If you don't know what orts are, it stands for odd random threads. So all the little bits of embroidery floss from my current WIPs, I keep them all in a little jar, and then it was so full I decided to stuff this really special pillow with it. So I don't think I got this finished in time to display. Oh no, I did, because I had it near my Christmas tree. I took pictures on my Christmas tree with this one and put it on my Instagram. So yeah, that's my first lovely FFO. The next one, just move the camera up a bit. My microphone leads in the way. There's going to be a bit of trial error with this one. So this is a really lovely project bag that I've made with this really beautiful purple. I love purple. Purple and pink are my favourite colours. So purple and pink, purple and gold splattered fabric that I got in my local fabric shop. This one is a really soft and really delicate gingham that I got in a charity shop. I've got one of my lovely ring blings that I make there just for a zipper pull. But this is a project, a finished object that I showed in my last Flosstube, and this is Little Purple Spooky House by lovely Lizzie from Misfit Stitches. And I used all variegated floss in this one, so if you want to know what flosses I use, then just give me a message. But I know that I used a combination of River Hut Designs, which was this really lovely variegated moon that I got here, and I think I also used some classic Colourworks and maybe a few other ones I can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, I wanted to make this into a little bag, and I wanted some purple fabric to complement the lovely variegated purple that I've got in the centre here. That's also a River Hut Designs. I think it was the Hichura, which was one of the exclusive colourways of the month. And inside, I just got really plain calico. I haven't actually worked on this project. It's my, let's have a look. This is my Una Biena Piazza, which I really want to get back to actually. It's a bit creased. But this is some fabric that I dyed myself with Rip Dye. Not Rip Dye, Dylon dye. And it's got really lovely mottlin on it. And yeah, that's a really lovely Wolf needle minder that I got from Lindsay. That was a gift from her. So I haven't actually touched this WIP, but it is calling my name. I would like to do a bit of work on a couple of the motifs. So yeah, they're my two FFOs. And now we'll get onto the massive finished objects pile. So let's just move you down a bit. Okay. So this is a stitch along that I'm doing with a group of ladies, and it's called, I think it's Floral Cross Stitch Through the Year Sal, something like that. I'll try and put it in the bottom. But I used all the called for colours that are in the book. This comes from a book that I have showed on previous Flosstubes. I think I did actually show this as a WIP in my last Flosstube, but after that recording I just cracked on and got it finished. But I absolutely love all of this slightly all these variegation of purples and lilacs. I think it's so pretty, and the greens in these leaves and stems is gorgeous. Some the plan with this one is we're going to stitch a flower for each season throughout the year together, and I think I'm going to frame mine in a 4-window frame. That's my plan. I have actually kitted up the winter one, but I just haven't started it yet. I really need to do that well in the next week or so, because it will soon be the spring solstice, so at least I get a few stitches into it. Okay, this next one is also some fabric that I dyed myself, and this is also dyed with Dylon dyes. And I used a combination of pink, purple, and some orange to create this, and I ice dyed this in my garden last summer, and I really loved it, but I wasn't quite sure what I was going to use the fabric for. And then I saw this pattern by Misfit Stitches, Ali, the Moon Tarot, and I absolutely adored it. And I thought that with this monochromatic black, because I think hers has got a few different colours in it, but I wanted to do it in just 310 and then a little bit of sparkle from Crynig. There was some creative touches put to this where I'd just done things wrong in these clouds and I didn't want to frog it, so I think I just sort of charted this cloud myself and put that in. And these stars, I think I also just put them in wherever I felt. There wasn't enough room because of my error to put the full bit of the design up here. I think this was a lot larger, these numerals was a lot larger across the top, and I just did a small back stitch and charted that myself, and I actually quite like the delicacy of how that looks, but I just think it's so pretty. Still not quite sure how I'm going to FFO this one, but I do really love it. Okay, this is probably the star of the show. This is Madame Butterfly, and this is a design by Barbara Anna in collaboration with Nitka Moscow. And oh my gosh, isn't she just absolutely out of this world stunning? Like, I just love everything about this. The vibrancy of the colours, her little cheeks are so beautiful. There was 2 options for this where you could do eyes closed or eyes open, but I like all the dreaming girls with closed eyes, so that's what I decided to do. There's a little bit of fluff there. I also wanted her as large as possible, which I know that Yasmin Made with Love did also, but I stitched this on 25 count Zweigart. I think this colourway is called Sage Green, and I used it for the other piece that I would class as a companion, which is, I think it's called Butterfly Dreams, where it's she sort of looks like a Japanese style lady, and she's got butterflies flying next to her here. It's a really stunning piece, and I stitched that on the same fabric, and I felt that they were companions, both being butterfly pieces, and because I wanted her as large as possible, I decided to stitch her on the same fabric. And I was so unsure about the colours of the floss against this fabric, but now it's finished. Oh my gosh, I just adore it so much. But yeah, I've got Cleo in this one to frame of Barbara Anna's, so I need to get that done soon, really. But oh, she's so stunning. I think she might be my favourite Barbara Anna that I've stitched to date. I think I used all the called for colours on that one except one of the oranges I didn't have. Okay, this next one is a start and a finish since I last saw you. This is Wren and Snowdrops, and it was a kit or a PDF pattern download from Love Poppet. She's got some gorgeous designs, and I stitched this on a piece of Permin, 32 count, and it's called Star Sapphire. And I used all the called for DMC, and I stitched this as a sow. I think it was called the Wren Friends sow, and there was quite a few of us, like Kim and Yasmin, Sarah, cross stitch Sarah, who has also started an amazing Flosstube since I last recorded, and that was the last person of my friends that I thought, oh, I wish she did Flosstube. And I'm sure I said that it would always be my dream that Lindsay, Wolfie Stitches, and Cross Stitch Sarah would start Flosstube, and they both have now. So that's really great because I get to see them on a screen, and yeah, it's just so lovely to put a face to the voice and the pictures on Instagram. And there was a few other ladies as well who I can't remember off the top of my head, but we all stitched it together. So the Wren friend Sal, and this was such a pleasure to stitch. Like, I absolutely adored everything about it. It was just pure pleasure. Okay, this next one is called Small Steps Every Day, and I stitched this on a 27 count vintage country mocha, which I was kind of gifted by Lindsay, Wolfie Stitches. She gave me a massive piece of it, and it's nice to use some of it. And I will show in my haul later in the video, or maybe in part 2. We're going to have to see how we get on for time today, and I don't want this video to run on really, really long and people to lose interest, so I might have to break this down into 2 parts, and maybe I'll record again next week and when I've got some time, and we can talk about my stitchy kindness and my haul in that video. We'll see how we get on. But as part of my haul, I bought a really beautiful frog kit that says I can do hard things or something like that, and I was so drawn to it. I pre-ordered it, and I really loved this one as well. And I reached out to Sophie and just said how much I loved it and could I buy them together. But she was really, really kind to me and actually gifted this to me because she didn't want to sell it as a PDF pattern, because I didn't necessarily need the whole kit for this one. So she was so kind to me and said that she didn't want to sell it because it was such a small design, but she'd really kind of gifted it to me, which I was blown away at, actually. She's such a lovely person, and I got started on it straight away. I think I used all the called for except the green. I think I changed the green. She used a more vibrant green, but I wanted a more earthy green, so went for that. And I want to make this into a pillow and gift it to someone, so when I've got a bit of time, that'll be next on my list. And I think I also changed, I think it was one of these borders was meant to be different, I think. Then I didn't change the colour, I just liked the way it looked, the way I did it, so I just kept it. Okay, the next one, this is called Pleasant and Gentle. It's by Laurie Holt Designs. Is that her name? Laurie Holt Designs, I think so. Also known as Bee in My Bonnet. And this was a pattern that I really loved that Sarah had stitched, cross stitch Sarah. Let's just move this down a bit. And I commented on it and said how much I loved it, and she really kindly gifted me the pattern ages ago, and it was on my birthday start list because it was my birthday in January. So this was one of my, I think I started 5 things for my birthday, and yes, this is a start and finish. Sarah had really kindly gifted me this colour for the skirt, the floss for the skirt, because the one that was charted was very similar to the teal colour on her top, so they didn't really contrast with each other. So I did exactly the same thing as Sarah. I know that Sarah didn't stitch this border, but I actually really liked it. I really liked the delicacy of these flowers. Apart from that, everything is as it was charted. Again, not quite sure what I'm going to do with that one, but I think it's so lovely. And I have got another one of these patterns from this series that I picked up from Stitch in London, the swap table. It's got a cat with some flowers. It's really lovely, and I'd like to start that one soon. But that pattern's been now sent off to Lorna, my lovely friend Lorna, and I think she's going to stitch it. Okay. I don't know if I can get this all in shot. Let's just lift you up again. There we go. So this is another pattern that came from Cross Stitch Sarah, and I can't remember who was the designer for this one. Oh, it's Lizzie Kate, of course it's Lizzie Kate. And I stitched this on a piece of 32 count, is it flax? I think this is a flax. Pretty sure that it is. And all of these flosses are fancy floss from Tom and Lily Creations. Many of them were gifted to me by lovely Kim from Stitchy Squirrels. I just think it's absolutely stunning. And at the time that I started stitching on this is obviously around the time that the devastating war started in Gaza. And I just thought these words were so apt for this time. So to think deeply, speak gently, love much, laugh often, work hard, give freely, and be kind. And how cute is this little scene? I think I did make one change along here. I'm trying to think what it was. I think it was this heart colour. I think it was supposed to be this oatmeal colour here, but I didn't like that. I think hearts should be pink or red. So I changed that. But oh, it's so pretty, and I loved stitching all these little details under the words. It was a really enjoyable project, and I've gifted that pattern onto Rosie X Stitch, so because she loves Lizzie Kate. Still got a pile to go, guys. Next one up is another Yasmins Made with Love design, and this is Strawberry Season. This was a Patreon small from tier 1, her lowest tier. I'm just going to lower you down a bit again. I hope I'm not making you seasick with all that wobbling. So yeah, this was from tier 1 in the summer last year. I can't remember exactly what month, but Yas has now released this recently, so you can now buy this on her online shop. This was the first time that I'd stitched on 36 count. This was a fabric that I also bought off Cross Stitch Sarah, and I think it's a foxglove and lace one. I think that's what they're called, and it was the latte colourway. I don't think she dyes anymore. And this is stitching 1/2, which gives this really prim look, but I'm not quite sure that it's what I like stitching. I really like 36 count, but I'm going to stitch with 2/2 next time on 36 and just keep one strand for 40 count or above, because that's just the style and the look that I like. But yeah, I've also got plans to FFO this and gift it to a friend. Just having more time in the day. Yas has charted this in Fancy Flosses, I was going to say, but I just stitched it all in DMC. And this is another Yasmins Made with Love. I'm just going to lower you a bit again so you get the detail of the variegation of the floss. So this is House Divided Cannot Stand, which was one of Yaz's freebies to, bring awareness and compassion for the war in Gaza. This is my first time stitching on 40 count. This fabric is Roxy Floss Company. Can't remember what the exact colourway is called. This was really kindly gifted to me by Kim of Stitchy Squirrels. And I stitched one strand of Roxy Floss in Old Books, which I picked up at Stitch in London. And it's just these gorgeous shades of pink, purple and lilac, and a little bit of green. You can probably see like a green grey. I just think it's absolutely stunning. I really love this, and it's going to be made into a little pillow. But yeah, that's available on Yaz's Linktree. Okay, this is the next one, which was one that I started with Yaz for one of her birthday starts. Not this birthday just gone, but the year before. And this is Miss Coffee, and this is another collaboration between Barbara Anna and Nitka Moscow. And I used all the kit fabric and flosses. What was really unusual about this is because I stitched the Four Seasons kit from Nitka, and I had adequate amounts of floss, but with this one I found that I ran out of this lilac colour and also ran out of a couple of other floss colours, but Nitka was so lovely and responded to my Instagram message really quickly, and yeah, they told me what those floss colours were, but obviously not to share them because that's part of their privacy of, you know, the collaboration and their copyright. So, but I was so grateful because it meant that I could finish it, and oh, I loved this. I loved stitching this. I stitched a lot of this skirt on the train and at Stitch in London, so it's got some really lovely memories. But another Barbara Ann like that I need to finish completely. That one's going to be framed and go on my Barbara Ann wall. And then the last one in this little pile, but I've just remembered I've got another finish to show you, so I'm going to go and grab that in a minute when I get a drink, but I'll just show you this one. Okay, we need to go up a bit again. Can I get it all in? There we go. So this one is the Jingle Bells stitch along, Christmas stitch along, the Advent Sal that I was really kindly gifted by Historical Sampler Company, who're such a generous company. And yeah, they gifted me the whole Advent gift box, which was amazing. And it did include lots of goodies to open every day on the run up to Christmas. And there was 24 little packages of just beautiful things, which many people have shared online what you got. And I used the called for, well, the fabric and the flosses that came in that kit that was all gifted to me. And I loved stitching this. I loved doing all these little windows. It was just a lot of fun. I'm trying to think if there was anything that I changed. I think there was something that I changed here. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think that it was supposed to be in this corally red colour. Maybe the lettering or the border. I can't remember exactly. I think it might have been the numbers were meant to be in that corally colour. I actually quite like them in the white, so I just didn't frog it and just carried on. So yeah, I'm going to take a quick break here. I'm going to go and get a drink, and then I'll come back and show you my last FO that I've worked on, and then we'll get cracking with the WIPs. I'll see you in a minute. Here we are, I'm back. So I've just grabbed this one. You can tell that I was on a real Yasmins Made with Love kick. I got all of my Yasmins Made with Love projects, my WIPs finished. I just couldn't help myself. I couldn't stop. So this is Love Makes Everything Easy. Most beautiful pattern. This is probably one of my favourite ones that Yaz has ever designed. I think it's so quirky and special. And she gifted this to me, this pattern, not for my birthday this year, but January 2023. And she gave me the pattern that was like the beta, like it hadn't been fully released yet. And since that time, she'd adjusted the pattern. So I was kind of working off the beta version because I'd already started this wood pigeon. There's a lot of debate about whether this is a pigeon or a pheasant. I think Yaz said it was meant to be a pheasant, but I always called him a wood pigeon. Sorry, Yaz. And so I'd already started this and the lettering in the beta version. And then Yasmin gave me the updated version, which then I stitched all the border with. But as a result, some of this text, I think I'd either not counted it right, or because I was working off the first version, it was a bit out of sync with the border. So I just said to Yaz, I'm thinking about adding in, because I had a bit of space here, about adding in something to cover that blank space that isn't meant to be there. And she agreed that a hanging flower would look really nice. So yeah, I just added this one. And I copied Yaz in the fact that I put my initials, CDB, and I put 24 when I finished it. And it's not often that I personalise things, but I really liked the way that Yaz had done that. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to finish this, although it does look quite nice in the hoop. So maybe I'll finish it in the hoop and get that up on my wall. At the moment, it's just propped near my craft desk. And I used all the called for colours for this one, except a couple of these browny and orangey colours, I think. I didn't have those ones in stash at the time, so I just picked the nearest that I had to the eye. So yeah, they're all my finishes. It's a big pile, isn't it? Now let's get started with the WIPs. So this is a project bag that I made myself quite a while ago using Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch tutorial, and it's actually a tea towel that I picked up in TK Maxx that I really like with all these quirky cats on. And this purple fabric, I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't think it's cotton. I think it's maybe like a polyester cotton blend. It's really, really soft that I used. I got that in the charity shop. And in here is the WIP that I've been working on this week. I'm just going to take this out of the plastic so you can see the design. So this is the Lizzie Kate Things Unseen mystery sampler, and I saw this on Sew Me Sarah's Flosstube channel, and I really liked it. She's since finished it and it's glorious. I ordered this from 123 Stitch, and I also ordered, because there's 3 parts to this, you have to have all 3 parts because only part 1 has the key and the instructions. So if you do order this, make sure you order all 3 parts. And I also ordered the embellishment pack, which has got these really lovely buttons and beads in. To embellish this piece, but also there's a bonus chart included in the patterns, and also a little pillow over the 3 parts, and you get to embellish those as well. So that's what it will look like. And I love this saying, and I have for a really long time: the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched, they must be felt with the heart. And maybe I'll just take this out of the hoop actually, because I've been working on these flowers at the bottom. So yeah, this is being stitched on a fabric flare in coffee stain, and it's a 32 count linen. Lots of working threads, because that's how I roll. Because I'm working on the border a bit, and then, you know, if I've finished these flowers but I'm going to use it over here, then I'll just keep it hanging there, and then when I need it I'll tie it off at the back and then reuse it. I just find it a bit quicker. So yeah, I hope you can see, but there's these really beautiful speciality stitches here. It has got a few speciality stitches in, but they're not difficult or complicated. The instructions that come with this is really, really good. But yeah, I'm working at the moment on these flowers. I have actually placed these incorrectly, but as you can see from the chart, there is lots of negative space around here. I'm not concerned about, it's only like a stitch or 2 off, so I'm not at all concerned that, you know, it's going to affect the rest of the design. I think as long as I count these B's off the even off here, then it will be absolutely fine. So yeah, once I've finished the border here, finished this vase and these hearts and a couple of these B's, and I think I need to start the M and the W of world and a couple of these stars here. They just start slightly here on part 1, and then I'll be moving on to part 2, so I'm nearly at the end of part 1. So yeah, part 1 and part 2 are these top bits here in half. Part 3 is this bit down here. So yeah, I'm getting a good way through it now. This was a birthday start for 2023, and it was neglected for almost a year, I noticed, because I took a picture when I last worked on it on Instagram, and I looked it up when I re-picked it up again this week, and yeah, it'd been in my WIP basket and ignored for like a whole year. Just going to put some things away so I don't get all discombobulated as I go. Tell the other good thing about standing at this window, I can see when the postman comes. I'm expecting some post today. Okay, so this is my blue Wren bag. my really precious friend B, she lives in Australia. She did live in the UK in Devon for a little while and we did meet up, but she's gone back to Australia now. But when I had the Yarn Pigeon podcast, which was my knitting video vlog before I started cross stitching and got completely obsessed, it had a very small subscriber count, but B was one of my really faithful subscribers, and yeah, she always contacted me and sent me lovely messages and we became friends. Anyway, she sent me this tea towel from Australia. It's hand painted, and I decided to make it into a project bag. And inside it's really lovely floral. So this is another birthday start for this year, and it's a kit that Yaz gifted to me for my birthday in 2023, but I just didn't feel advanced enough in my stitching to be able to stitch this, and I was putting it off. But I now feel confident enough to work with these variegated threads and do it justice. So me, Kim and Yaz all started an Owl Forest embroidery design for my birthday in 2024 in January. So I'm stitching this one, which is called House Spirit, I think. Yaz is doing one. I can't remember what one she's doing. Can't remember. And Kim's doing a really lovely cat that she got as a PDF. It's gorgeous. If you've never seen an Owl Forest kit, it's really beautiful. So you get your chart, but then you also get them all on little bits of paper that you can cut up, so you can just stitch a bit at a time. You get a really extensive booklet that tells you how to use the variegated threads and what results you can expect to see. And they all come on these really beautiful little variegated skeins, which you can undo and then wrap them around the bobbin. Sorry, I'm just trying not to show you the charts. You get a needle minder that correlates with the design, which I'll show you in a sec, and you get the fabric, which is a really nice linen. It's really nice. So yeah, this is the needle minder that I got with it. This cute little, is that a goose or a duck? Don't know. So yeah, as you can see from the design on the box, I've managed to do the cat and the basket, the little chicks, the eggs, and I've nearly finished these little vases. So yeah, I think my plan was to finish these vases and then start working on this bottom right hand corner of the border. But it's so lovely to stitch, and the threads are absolutely stunning. I really hope you can see the variegation there on the cat and the vases. It's beautiful. I'd really like to get another Owl Forest kit. I've been eyeing up the rose hip one for a really long time, and I will buy it at some point. It's just shipping is so expensive from Russia at the moment. Well, just in general, but it's a good job I got my ironing board next to me to put everything on. I know you do that as well, don't you, Sally? Sally Flossie Sews and Grows. So this next bag, this is a lovely gift. I did a stitchy swap with Lorena from the Fox's Cottage. She's not around on Instagram or YouTube at the moment, but she's still got her coffee shop open. But yeah, we did a swap. She sent me this with some washi tape and some stickers, and I recently sent her a free motion embroidery piece that I jelly printed. It was really lovely. But I love it. It's got a little fox charm as well. And inside is like a really lovely purple. I'm not quite sure what I put in here. Oh, there's my really lovely... Oh, I know what's in here now. This is my really lovely... what are these called? Where you can catch your threads on it. Thread bed that I got from the Stitch in London swap exchange. And lovely Whitney from America was my swap. Like she'd made this and I'd received it the swap. And I've been really lucky to receive the Historical Sampler Company latest SAL All Things Grow with Love, and this is the needle minder that comes with it. I just took it off so I wouldn't lose it and magnetised it onto there. Oh, this is some hauls since I last saw you. So I bought these really lovely, I bought these glitter ones And then Kim bought the pink and the mint. I don't know what colour that is, like a greeny minty colour. And we swapped some. So we've got a selection, but on the colours of this, absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, they gifted me the box, which was really nice. So you got some you got like some little sweets. You got the fabric, you got the floss, some really lovely scissors. Oh, there was all kinds of lovely things in there. So I was really lucky that they asked me if I'd like to receive it and collaborate with them. So I've completely finished 50% of this. So 2 parts have been released and I've completely finished them both. And I just love how this design is looking. And if you don't know, Cotton and Twine, who is the same company as Historical Sampler Company, are now doing a linen option in their boxes. They used to only do Ada, but now it's very recent they're offering linen. So yeah, this is linen, and I just think this white linen makes these colours pop so much. Isn't it absolutely beautiful? So part 3 will come out next Monday, and I'm really looking forward to that. Oh. Okay, next one is also Historical Sampler Company. This was a Cotton and Twine box. I've showed this many times that I've finished with some really lovely Liberty fabric, and I made this little ring pull thing, zipper pull. And this was a sale that they did in collaboration with Emma Congdon last year. Sorry, it's a bit creased. And this is called Home is Where Your Heart Is. And I worked a lot on this. I think when I left it last time, I'd only done this sprig here and maybe some of the H, but when I picked it up again, I worked all the rest of this and did all the lettering and the back stitch and all the back stitch on here. This is so time intensive, but isn't it absolutely stunning? I really love it, and I love the variegations on these teals on the letters. I think it's absolutely stunning. I'll just move the bag because it's creating a bit of a... There we go. So yeah, this is really beautiful. Down here there's going to be a really lovely house, and then this border continues all the way around in a circle. It is a stunning design, but as I said, it's time intensive. So next time I pick this up, I think I'll work on the next board around here. But it was really nice to work on it and get in the zone with it and get some good progress on that one. Okay, the next one is in a really lovely project folder that is made by Nest Craft Room. I picked this up at Stitch in London. And this one is Pansy Bloom. I started this in the Let Us Shine sale, which was being run by Marumi Crafts Marianne, and Mod Cross is the designer. And I think Julian Stitches, is it 16, something like that, on Instagram. She was part of the sale. I think there was one other person. Can't remember who the other person was. Oh, it might have been Daybreak Stitchery Nitka. That's ringing a bell because they're in the Quad City Stitches. I think that's what they're called. They're really close friends and they meet up a lot. So I'm stitching this on a 32 count 32 count even weave, which is dyed by River Hut Designs. I love her fabric. It's so soft and the mottling on it is beautiful. I think this one was called some Sunshine Yellow, I think it's called. And this is quite blocky. It's not confetti heavy at all. It's all these gorgeous purples and lilacs and white. It's really stunning. It's called Pansy Bloom, and as I said, the designer is Mod Cross. I'm just going to have a drink of water. But I was finding it quite hard to stitch this from the paper pattern. But I've recently started the trial with Pattern Keeper, and it's just revolutionised my stitching. I actually really love using Pattern Keeper now, although I still like using paper and pen, but there's something about Pattern Keeper that makes stitching really efficient and easy to do, especially when you've got pieces like this that are more full coverage. I've been finding it really helpful, and it's so motivating to see your percentage and how many stitches you've done for that day. And it's made me realise that I stitch a lot more than I think I do. Like, I probably average about 500 stitches a day, which I'm really happy about, but I never knew any of those statistics before I tried Pattern Keeper. So I did the month-long trial, and I decided that I would invest, and I think it was like £8, but that gives you lifetime access. I mean, it's a bargain. They could charge so much more for that programme. And once I'd got Pattern Keeper and put my progress in there and got stitching on this, do you know, it just stitched up a storm. I really enjoyed it. And I'll show you the floss drops that I made, because these are quite special. These are tea cards that I received as a gift from Lizzie, Wolfie Stitches. I think they're vintage. I don't know when they're from. I think they're from PG Tips. And she said that she thought I'd quite like to make them into floss drops, which of course I did. And then I've just got one of my jelly printed ones, which I've just got some extra blanc on. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this project now. It's on Pattern Keeper, and I'm looking forward to picking that one back up again. Just love that cheerful fabric. This is what I would call an ugly project bag. I'm really trying to phase all of these out and make all nice project bags, but it's just having the time. So this is one of my birthday starts for this year, and this is from Cross Stitcher issue 240 from June 2011, and I found out about this design from Lizzie, Wolfie Stitches, and it's called the Green Fingers Sampler, and it's really gorgeous. So dig your garden and hoe the weeds, sprinkle with water and sow your seeds. Isn't it gorgeous? So I'm stitching this on a 32 count Zweigart cream, and I'm using all the called for DMC. And what I love about this is it's, just bring you down a bit. It's interesting because it's a mix of embroidery and cross stitch, which you can see there. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. I think the colours are really popping on this cream coloured fabric. I picked this up maybe last weekend, and I stitched this lady here, and it was really interesting because I was thinking, God, this just looks like a blob. And I didn't realise that this hat was completely made with long stitch at the end. So before that was just brown cross stitches for the hair. But doesn't it look so like a hat? Yeah, I was really impressed with that embroidery technique. I thought it was really effective. And that's another needle minder that was gifted to me by Lindsay. I love it, doing my best. It's one of my mantras, especially as a mum. I'm talking about Lindsay Wolfie Stitches. This is one of her mum's imperfect project bags that I bought from her recently. I just love this fern fabric. And inside here is a gift that I got from Yas for Christmas. Sorry, I'm just showing the chart there. I don't mean to. This is Love Poppet again, and it's a hedgehog cross stitch kit. So this is what it will look like at the end. And yeah, Yas was really kind. She gifted me this hedgehog one, and she gifted I think Kim got a squirrel one. Yeah, she did. So they're the flosses. I've just put some of those on my autumnal floss drops that I've got in my coffee shop. And yeah, I haven't picked this up since Christmas, so I'd quite like to have a go on that again. Okay, the next one is also a new start. This is in a bag from Cross Stitch Sarah. That was a really lovely birthday gift in 2023. And this is a sale I've started with quite a few ladies. We're calling it the Blooming Swan sale. We've got a really nice chat going, so if you're interested in that, then just message. Well, if you look on my Instagram, you'll be able to see who's in the sale. It was Charlotte, the Busy Bee Stitcher, I think, who set this one up. So these are my flosses. I decided to use all fancy floss for this design. It was just really calling for fancy flosses for me. So what I did was I kitted up the fancy floss, the DMC that was called for, and then I just worked through my fancy flosses and just found some that I thought would look nice as a replacement. So I've got a mix of River Hut designs in here, some Tom and Lily, some classic Colourworks, and some Roxy Floss Co. And I think that Lorna gifted me some of these for that I showed in my last Flosstube. And then this isn't recent buy. I haven't had this very long. This little ring bling with charms from Pretty Little Thread Keeps on Facebook. I bought a couple of birdie ones from her because I loved them. And this lovely needle minder was a gift from Kim. I think she bought it from Angels and Elephants on Etsy. She's got some lovely needle minders and she's actually based here in Cornwall. So this is a 32 count white Zweigart that I hand dyed myself with Dye-On dye. Can't remember which dye it was, but if you message me I'll be able to tell you. And I just used 1 teaspoon and then just used some warm water to make it up into a big enough amount of liquid that, you know, it would saturate my fabric but still give me some mottling. And I'm just so pleased with like how this is turning out. This is another one that I was finding quite hard to stitch with pen and paper, so I messaged Max from Pigeon Coop Designs, and he was really kind and sent me the Pattern Keeper compatible pattern really quickly. His customer service was really fab. And yeah, I've swapped out some of the blues in the pattern because they just weren't showing on my fabric very well. They were more like teals on the called for. And this has kind of pushed my stitching a bit, because as you can see there's some really lovely fractionals and these flowers on the beak. And yeah, getting the technique for those to look tidy was a bit difficult to begin with, but I got there in the end. So yeah, I'm waiting for my swan needle minder to come from Cotton and Clay Laura, because she's part of the stitch along and she's designed some really lovely swan needle minders. I'm hoping mine might arrive today, and then I'll pick it back up again. Oh, here's another one of those ring blings. Look, another little birdie with some charms. And there's some of my own floss drops. There's not much to show on this one. Not much at all. This is going to be a bit of a difficult one to stitch, I think, because it's not Pattern Keeper compatible, the pattern I've already tried, and it's quite confetti heavy. I haven't got a cover picture for this one, so I will add one in, but this is called Purple and Pink Callistephus. It's a really lovely vintage style flower, and it's by Sakaran on Etsy. They've got a couple of lovely floral patterns, so yeah, not much to show for this one, but at least I've got it started. And this pattern was a gift from my girls and my husband for my birthday in 2023, so it just felt good to get a few stitches in. But aren't they really pretty? All those lovely purples and blues. Okay, this is a project bag made by me, and this is my own embroidery design. I made this bag a long time ago. I had this one, and I had another one with a bird with like autumnal leaves around it that I gifted to Yas, but I dyed this fabric with avocado pits and skins. I used to really enjoy natural dyeing. And in here I've got the Granny Squares by Laurie Holt, being my bonnet again. This is a free pattern, and I'm just using all leftover floss threads from That's from Emma Louise Art Stitch from her seahorse that I finished. That's from the 4 Seasons Nitka kit, and that one as well. Oh no, that's from Miss Coffee, that one, and then one from 4 Seasons. And then I've got some cotton and twine boxes that I finished. So I'm just sort of picking at random the colours that I like and then stitching these little granny squares. And what I'm making it for is I'm going to do a strip of 9 inspired by Ashley from A Little Patient XS, and I'm going to use it for this top bit of the project bag. So I need to think about what fabric I want to use for the main part of the bag, or whether I want to use another cross stitch for the bottom part. But yeah, I'm really liking how these are looking. I think, yeah, I've only got another 4 to go, and I should have the right measurements for what I'm looking for. We're getting there, guys. Okay, another me made project bag. This one's got some really lovely butterflies on it. And this is one that I've been working on. I had a goal at the weekend, so this is what it's going to look like. This is Mel Stitches is the artist. She's collaborated with Heritage Crafts and she's brought out some gorgeous kits. I've got 2 others apart from this one, but Heritage Craft just released this one with seals and a moon. Oh my god, it's absolutely stunning. So I'm going to wait till they have another sale. They have fairly frequent sales, and I'll buy it then. But this was the first one I bought that I fell in love with because it just reminded me of like a fairy cottage in the woods. Yeah, I just fell in love with it straight away and had to buy it. And luckily they had a Black Friday sale, I think it was at the time. And the colours in this are just absolutely gorgeous. Let me show you the thread cards. They're a bit of a jumbled mess because there's blends as well in this kit, but they are all whole stitches as it says on the pattern. So I'd already stitched this house and this bit, some of this and some here, but my goal at the weekend when I picked this up on Friday was to get this page done to the left. So this is the top of page 1. There's 2 pages, but they're A3 size, so you get it cut in half. So that's page 1, and then page 2 is up there, and then you get 2 more A3 pages with all the back stitch on. It's a really clear pattern. So my goal at the weekend was to finish all the left-hand side of the house, which I did complete, and I was really pleased. And I put in all the back stitch, like you can see there's some back stitch on the edge of the tree trunk here and on the flowers, and these flowers are all back stitched, and the house. And this thatched roof was really tricky to stitch off the pattern actually, because it went over 2 of the A3 pages and I was really struggling to line it up by eye. So what I actually decided to do was just use the cover photo and just sort of eyeball it, and I think it turned out quite well. So yeah, I'm pleased with it, and I'm really pleased with the progress. So next time I pick it up, I'm going to work on the right hand side. That's another needle minder from Wolfie at Lindsay Stitches. I got that the wrong way round. Lindsay at Wolfie Stitches. Okay, another really precious project is this one. So I'm sure I've told you the story of this one before. This is Winter Woods, and it's by Mary Hickmott Designs on Etsy. I found this really random kit in the charity shop that had no pattern in it. All it said was Winter Woods, Mary Ann Hickmott, I think her name is. And I was really intrigued by it because the floss colours were so gorgeous, as you'll see here. There are all these whites and beiges and blues and greens. They're so pretty. So in the shop I had signals, so I just typed in Winter Woods, Mary Hickmott, and this amazing pattern came up on Etsy that was £12, and I just could not leave it there. So for all the floss colours, there was a Kreinig blending filament in there, and it was £3. So, you know, for £15 I got the pattern and all the flosses, which is great. So I'm stitching this on I think I'm stitching it on a 28 count icy blue. I think that's what it is, Zweigart. And I'm using all the kit colours, apart from I swapped out the blending filament of Kreinig for Petite Treasure Braid. Just see what colour it is. I've just ordered another one from Lakeside that just arrived because I don't think I'm going to have enough. But yeah, PB23 is what I'm using. And I hope it's going to show up on the camera, but there's this really delicate sort of sparkle to it in certain areas. It's really, really pretty. So that's another one I got onto Pattern Keeper, and I was really surprised to see that I was already at nearly 20%. I think I was at like 18% or something when I marked off all my progress in Pattern Keeper. And then since then, I think I've got it up to 25%. So it's certainly getting there, and I just think it's so beautiful. Okay, a bag from Lovely Hazel, and a lovely zipper pull that I got from Stitch in London. And this is Let's Dream On. I was actually told about this pattern by Laura from I Stitch Birds, and she said, Charlie, I think this one's for you. It's you sitting in the woods. And I couldn't agree with her more. So this is by Elena Michakina, I think that's how you say it. And she's called Milena, MILENA_stitch on Instagram. And yeah, I'd got most of this girl done, I think, last time I showed you, but since then I've worked a lot on the blending here in the tree. I put in some of these leaves, and I've done the birds and started backstitching those. Another one again that I've got in Pattern Keeper now, and that's making things a bit easier. But I just love how all these really delicate browns are really starting to come together, and I think once the back stitches in the trunk as well, and in her face and her dress and her hair, it's going to be absolutely stunning. So making really, really good progress on this one. Okay, we've got a teapot lovely bag from Pauline at Soapy Bags, and in here I've got a restart. So it's from this pattern of kits, which I've just bought the fourth one actually from My Bobbin, and it arrived last week, but I'm stitching this one, these lovely mugs, and it's called Coffee Keepers. It's by Andriana. I thought, oh yeah, I have got it. So I did start on the Ada that was in the pack, but I just didn't really love it. And I looked on Instagram on some other people's projects, and some people had stitched it on like linen or even weave, and it was absolutely stunning. And I was like, I'm just going to restart. I actually found that Andriana, I can't remember what her exact name is on Instagram, but she has got a Boosty page, so I was able to buy the PDF, which then enabled me to use it in Pattern Keeper, and I also then knew what the floss colours were. So I have restarted, and I'm stitching this on a 32 count, I think it's called Vintage Sand by Zweigart, pretty sure it's Vintage Sand. And yeah, so I got the fox cup done, and then I also got this next cup done, but I've put no back stitching yet. But I'm so glad I restarted it. I just think it looks so beautiful in this fabric. I much prefer it. Okay, 2 more WIPs, guys, 2 more. Another Pauline Soapy Bags. And in here, I've got my feline cats, which is my oldest WIP. And as Yaz would call them, the bloody felines, because they are really stitch heavy. Yeah, I've got this in a hoop. So yeah, this is my oldest WIP, and don't look at this too closely because you can definitely tell it's my first WIP. Some of the stitches are going the wrong way. I'm really ashamed of the back. I shouldn't say ashamed, but I know that my skills are so much better than they were there. I mean, you can tell. So this is the bit that I've been stitching recently, so you can just tell how much my backs have changed since I've got more skilled. And I was doing a thread a day on this, but I've lost motivation again. But I've just got this block here to finish, and then I can carry on with the next cat, which is a blue and yellow striped cat. I think it's a bit more interesting, the next one. So I just need to try and get this block of yellow done here. But this is just such a long-standing WIP. I think my goal for this year is to work on the third cat. I mean, I'd like to say I'd get the third cat finished, but it's such slow progress that I just don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe I need to try and get it into Pattern Keeper, and that might motivate me. Might do. Or I might just see the total stitch count for the project and just be like, oh, I give up. But I can't. My daughter Evie really, really wants this project. She always asks me, where's my cats? Okay, and the last one I've got in this lovely little floral bag that I bought at a car boot sale last summer. And this is the Steady Thread Blackwork Cell. I'm stitching this on an Ada, and I think this is also vintage sand actually. I think it's 16 count. It's either 16 or 18. No, I think it's 18 count actually, because I found out that if I did it on 18 count it would fit in this size hoop. I think it's a 20-inch hoop off the top of my head. And I'm using a selection of three pinky and pink reds, and 3 greens. And I've got up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've done 12 hexagons. I think there's a total of, let me have a look at the pattern. There's a total of 49. So I am making slow but steady, steady for the steady thread. I'm making steady progress on this one, and it's got a really gorgeous leafy border as well, which I'll probably do at the end. But yeah, slow and steady. I know Lauren from Cross Stitch Bunny is also stitching this one with me. So yeah, that's all the WIPs that I worked on since I last saw you. All my FFOs and all my finishes. So I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to put it into an editor and see how long it is. If it's not too long, then I'll carry on. If not, I'm going to split it into 2, and I'll do part 2, and I'll release that next week. Bye for now. Hi guys, it's me again. I just stopped recording and realised the time. I need to go and pick my children up from school. So I'll be back next week with part 2, which will show all my stitchy kindness, all my haul in the last 3 months. So it's going to be quite epic. I've also got 2 announcements of the giveaways. There was for the roses kit with the floss, and also a bird pattern from Yasmins Made with Love. So I'll announce those. I'll draw them and announce them in the next part 2. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to know your thoughts about it, and take care of yourselves. Happy stitching. Bye.